Alrighty, hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Happy, whatever day this is now, Friday morning. Happy June 10th. Hope you all are doing well. We're back in Kaldvann here in the Marienburg neighborhoods where I last left off yesterday afternoon. Do have Sean with me. Sean, go ahead and say hello.
Fuck.
Let me just make sure that came through and Sean's audio is doing well. I'm going to listen to the playback. Hopefully it'll pop up. Let me hear real quick. Yep, I can hear me. I sound disgusting. Yeah, it sounds horrible. Yep, no, you're coming through fine. That was a pretty impressive fuck. Very nice. I liked it. So we're here. We're just going to hang out. Probably going to stream for a little bit. But I'm involving Sean with a small way to drum up some content in the channel because last time we discussed anything that happened to come to mind and it got very passionate. So, Sean, you ready to hear what I got for you?
No.
Good, I'm glad you are. So I'm gonna select a subject real quick. I want to hear your thoughts on it. And
Fuck.
I got a great subject to pick for you. This is gonna
Rowan,
be
why did you leave my door wide ass open? I'm about to have to do hella talking and it's midnight and everyone's asleep. What are you fucking doing? You're a fucking cat.
yeah, Rowan. What the fuck?
God, hang on. Let me tend to that.
So in the meantime, we're here in the Marienburg neighborhoods again, doing just work on housing, just like we were doing last time. Unfortunately, I had to go because I had to go get stuff done for the day. Um, Sean is doing things over there. It sounds like, um, but I was supposed to come back on the other evening when I got home. I just got sidetracked with literally everything under the sun. Um, and I never got around to because I think by the time I got home from literally everything, it was maybe about 1 in the morning, and then I discussed Carabasisms with Sean, and yeah, it was just time to go to bed. By the time I was like, I think I was, I think I got on to Kaldvann, but I don't think I did anything.
You didn't do anything but show me how bad of my real estate is for my fucking house.
Yeah, actually, before I get going on the what subject I'm going to throw at Sean, Sean is weirdly enough, Sean has a weird position in Kaldvann. He has a dual title. So Sean is not only the Minister of Defense, so he's in charge of basically all the armed forces, but he's also the Dean of the University of Kaldvann, which I think I did intentionally because his last name is Dean. So every time he would have to introduce himself, it would be like a James Bond character. He is Dean. Sean Dean. But this is Sean Dean's
Yes.
house, which sits conveniently across the way from the actual campus of the University of Kaldvann, or the UOK, which was not intentional. I did not intentionally do that. But when I named the university, I'm like, what are we gonna call this? I'm like, well, I'll just call it the University of Kaldvann. And then I was doing those the highway signs, and particularly it was this one over here, and it was too long to just do the University of Kaldvann, so I needed to type out its acronym, and it just came out to UOK. And I'm like, yeah, that's about right for college. That's about on par for college.
To be fair, a dean wouldn't be over the entire school. It would be over like a specific sub school. So I would be the School of Engineering. Not that great of a.
Well, it's the whole school, so I guess you're more of a headmaster, but we're gonna call you dean.
I'm about to say I'd be like the president,
That's
but
fine.
that's fine.
Anyways, so there's these dorms over here, and I was showing Sean the dorms that look right at his house because you can see it from his yard, and this is the view they get. Which, to be fair, for a dorm, this isn't a half bad view of like the city and shit. Like this is a pretty
They got a fucking baller view in that dorm.
like this is actually a really nice view. Like that's quite nice. But there's Sean. There's his house. There's his window, so they could just look right in to it, whatever. And then of course, here's Sean's property. And you got the dorms right there. You got the school across the street. so he's constantly reminded of work. You got, of course, the church, so you get some noise over there. But you come back here to his rear wall, and there's the A13, just chilling. So he gets all the unadulterated just noises of the A13 all day. But to be fair, back before the A13 existed, this probably wasn't a half bad place to live. Oh, and he seems to think that, living here on this main road that comes by the college campus is, a problem. But I
I'm
don't see it.
telling you from experience. Yes, it is.
Yeah, but that's an
All
Alabama
right.
school. This is a Kaldvann school.
Like that makes it any better.
Shut the fuck
All
up.
right.
Anyways, we're
People
gonna
in Kaldvan
move
are fucking longer.
longer.
Yes.
How do you know we're all tall? Maybe we're short.
Listen, the Kaldvan had its own Hitler, except he wasn't obsessed with blonde hair, blue eyes. He was just he just wanted tall.
So anyway, so we're over here in the Marienburg neighborhood, and we're building these houses and such. And I figured, again, due to the last live stream and um, just how well it went, I think, with the ranting, we're gonna pick a subject, and Sean's gonna maybe share his thoughts and opinions about it. And he can do the same for me. He is more than welcome to. So I figured, Sean, to get us started for the after or the evening, I want to hear your thoughts on this subject in particular. You ready?
No.
Texas girl. What is a Texas girl, and why do you despise it?
Texas girl. A shock. Girl from Texas. Now, why do I have problem with these Texanonian women? Stop prying my door open, Rowan. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, Rowan, he's trying to talk.
Yeah, throw a fucking ball at his head. Meow. You're a cat. Anyway. So why do I have a problem with Texanonian women? Well, first of all, one single bad seed can, destroy a whole crop. As far as I'm concerned. Stop fighting, you two. I swear to God, I'm gonna snipe you with a water bottle. I don't have time right now. But the problem is she ain't got no personality. Like literally none. There's nothing there. Nothing. The lights aren't on upstairs. Like it's not even a case of the lights aren't all on. There's nothing. Just fucking like she wasn't that much younger either, tonight. But like, well, is there really? I guess with the way technology has developed, there really do be that much of a fucking gap. But I don't know. She didn't really have a personality outside of TikTok, and that would
Ugh, that's
like, I
disgusting.
genuinely don't know what she did with her day. She seemed to also think that hanging out with her was really, really awesome and better than hanging out with my actual friend. And I just didn't have the heart to tell her that she is the most boring human being I've ever met. Like at one point, right, I am looking up quizzes, character quizzes for, I think it was Friends and Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
And like, character quizzes because she knows these shows so well. And I'm sorry to say that I do not give one single fuck about either show, to be perfectly honest. But she wanted to show her knowledge. Oh, okay. We spent 13 minutes on those quizzes. We must have rolled through like 10, 15 of the fucking. And you want to know what the sad part was?
What?
She didn't even do that well. I think she cleared 70% once.
Oh, well, that's upsetting.
Like there was a that was a 3 hour call. 3 hours that I cannot get back out of my life. And like mercifully the power flickered and that cut off the Wi-Fi and ended the call.
Oh, you hate to see it.
I could not have been more relieved than in that moment. But she didn't need to know that. And so after that, Sean defeated. Like, I was all excited and like, I went to the beach. I met a girl. Like there was one there, unbelievably enough. And we were talking. I gave her my number. It's just that's the thing. I don't think I've ever regretted giving someone my phone number that much in my life. But anyway, so that whole 3+ hour fiasco ends. And Sean, who has known this woman for exactly 2 days, rolls into the AM server defeated.
Was it
Like,
AM or
I
was
don't
it
think I've ever been that
the stew?
physically and emotionally exhausted in my life. Like, I don't think it was even like emotional exhaustion. Like, it's like going too close to a black hole and you become part of the void. Like, that's how I was feeling.
Yeah,
And so yeah, that's the AM server, and I love you guys. They very helpfully started hatching a plan to convince Texas Girl that, as a matter of fact, I'm actually gay, and here are a bunch of badly photoshopped images of me and Jaden to prove it.
that's where those came from.
Yes, that's why we have all the fucking gay Jaden and Sean memes. And
That's
I
right.
have to say, y'all turned out a impressive number of those images. But yeah, that's where that came from. Let me look in our DMs because I chronicled this shit. Let's see. From Is it bad that I remember the date?
That is actually sad. Yes.
Well, it's not so much it was sad, it was traumatizing is what it was.
I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and disagree with you, considering I had to sit through
It's
it as
20.
well. Toby, you're a
So,
cat.
all right. August 2nd, 20.
Ugh.
I'm talking to the girl I met at the beach, and if we were playing the drinking drink game, I would be pissed drunk. This is a historical archive, by the way. Like if a friend's reference in the bio is one shot, what is it when she does multiple Friends and Grey's Anatomy quizzes to show her knowledge about these shows, which I do not at all care about, and then is telling me her head hurts from the effort afterward? Also, doesn't like ginger ale, doesn't like puns, too dumb to understand them, doesn't like lasagna, doesn't like rock or metal, is very bad about interrupting me when I don't say a whole lot to begin with, tells me to keep talking when she goes to do something else, at which point I haven't been talking for some time, have nothing to say, and don't want to say anything because I know her dumb ass is going to interrupt me again. Briefly attempted to mother me. I did not need mothering. We literally spent 30 minutes on those quizzes. There was something else I wanted to note, but forgot. My head hurts. Send help. This was a mistake. I should not have given this girl my number. It was nice for a day. I am already over it. I was on call for 3 hours with her tonight. I can't get those hours back. And then a little bit later, Jaden, I found out today that this woman doesn't like chocolate. Jaden, oh fuck. Sean, I'm pretty sure I'm talking to a psychopath. Jaden, I forgot to reply to that. I 9 a.m. looked at that. Dude, you need to call me. I have questions.
I 9 a.m. looked at that. That's where that came from.
That's fucking fucked, dude. Get the thought clobber. Jaden, August 3rd, 2020. Jaden, what? Sean, no, I'm not okay. Jaden, do you need to talk? Sean, quote, I hate cats. Oh, but look how cute this pig is. Texas girl. God fucking, where's my fucking spray bottle?
Oh, that wasn't a quote. I guess Sean's cat Rowan is being a cat right now and is being mischievous or something. Also, I need to see how long the lanes are measured out again because I haven't done this in a while. While he's away, to talk about what I'm doing here. So this is the Marienburg neighborhoods, and for a while I've had this bridge built here, which is going to be exit 4, which will be the second to last exit. It'll be the last technical exit here on the A13 within the greater or within the greater Trondheim limits.
I'm back. Sorry, I had to go shoot my cat in the face.
That's fine. I'm just explaining what I'm doing on screen while you were away. I'm gonna finish that real quick. Um, so what we're doing here is we are, or well, I'm just trying to get this exit built up. Um, the last exit will be exit 5, which is the interchange between the B6 and the A13. It's not really an exit, but yeah, Anyways, Texas girl.
I hate cats. Oh, but look how cute this pig is. To be fair, the pig was pretty cute. And then later on that night, Jaden, I'm in if you need to run away from lady.
Yeah, Texas girl. That was
And and you want to know what came from that?
what?
August 6th, 2020. Uphill struggles menu. Number 1,
The
the
uphill
struggle burger. Number 2, Reuben. Number 3, the big oof, double struggle burger. Number 4, F for fingies. 5, the strong. 6, will to live. 6.9, will to live with cheese. Nice. Always fresh out. Number 7, Primo Victoria prime rib sandwich. Comes with horseradish sauce, fries, toy, and high C. Number 8, tits on a stick. Like a corn dog, but with meatballs. Number 9, dicks in a bag. We just take a bag and we fill it with chicken fingers, and after that, it's your problem. Uh,
Yeah,
and then
yeah. Texas girl was not a fun time for you, was it?
it was actually a pretty fucking genuinely terrible time. Not gonna lie. Let's see. We have a couple of pictures of botched Southern Caboose restorations. There's actually quite a few. Oh my god, there's so many of them. Like most of these are like, uh, one of them was like basically the Comic Sans of Southern font.
Ugh.
But oh, 8/17/2020. The help. I'm no.
Oh, there goes his cat again. So basically, anyways, so I'm just trying to establish this on and off ramp because I'm building houses nearby, and I'm trying to figure out how many can I build over here, because I'm grading up into the intersection. So I'm just trying to figure out, can I build here? And what's probably going to happen is there's going to be a retaining wall on this side, which will probably stick up just a little bit, or it might be a bigger wall. Good morning, Train Fan 120. Um, there'll be a retaining wall here, so maybe we can sneak in a few houses. Unfortunately, their view kind of sucks ass, but it is what it is. The other real crappy thing is I need to find if I can't get a 3-lane exit here where this lane keeps going, because I hate to I hate to crunch down one lane. I really hate to crunch down an extra lane here. Oh, why are you screaming at me, you cat? But I don't know, just I don't want to have 2 lanes coming through here, but I guess because it's a interchange more or less, or it's a big movement in traffic, it should be fine. Excuse me, I'm trying to pet you here. Hello. What are you going to do? You are going to be a cat. Why are you still meowing at me? Hello, sir. Ooh. Come here. I want to pet you. Come here. Oh, hello, sir. Yes, are you going to build a Kaldvann with me? You aren't. What? You aren't. No. 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 Okay, go be a cat. Anyways, so that's really what we're doing here, and I need to take this, drag it out, take this side, drag it out, and whatnot, and then I can start working on even getting houses in over here, because it's just going to be a lot of. This really is just going to be residential, and it's going to maybe be a little more spread out than per se these neighborhoods where the houses are all kind of right on top of each other. Um, and this neighborhood is rather interesting because I need to figure out exactly how to work it into this. Because this is kind of a weird intersection, because this isn't really a. I think this is a C road, technically. I never actually did figure out what this was. I think this is technically a C road. And a C road, and I know I've talked about it before, A road, B road, C road, and then you just have road. Um, Obviously, an A road is a toll highway with no intersections. It has on and off ramps, and it is tolled, so that's an A road. A B road is like an A road, but it's more of a freeway. Um, it's untolled. Um, Generally speaking, it is divided. It can be just a major road, but generally speaking, it does have on and off ramps. Very rarely does a B road have, and especially modern B roads, does a B road have an intersection. Um, there are sections that are grandfathered in, particularly over in Kriegerhaven. Um, and then we have a C road, which is just a road. It can be divided. It can have on and off ramps. It is never tolled. The only tolled roads um, are major crossings um, and in A roads. So those are the only tolled roads, pay roads. Um, so I believe this is a C road because again, there's an intersection here. So I think this is what this will be. So I think we can have an intersection up here, even though there is an on and off ramp over here. Because I don't want to I don't want to funnel all the traffic in right here. Um, I could put an off ramp here. It'd be risky. I probably actually should have done a exit here, but oh well. A little late for that now. How'd it go, Sean?
They were having a domestic.
Um, like a Logan and Caitlin domestic, or
Yeah, pretty much. I chased Saber around the house in a fucking circle like 20 times.
oh,
He has a severe case of the zoomies, and I think Rowan does too. But yeah, they were tearing into each other a second ago, and like when one of them has the other pinned down, that warrants the squirt bottle. So yeah, they both got hosed, but they just went right back to it. I started telling the fucking uphill struggles menu and all that shit, and then I hear there the two little fucking shitheads go again, and I'm gonna have to deal with this all fucking night long because these two assholes are now not only fucking nocturnal, because Saber always was, and apparently Rowan is too, but now I get to deal with them both being nocturnal with a lot of energy and another cat to play with.
Well, that does sound like a problem. That is certainly an issue there, sir. All right, well. But any final thoughts on Texas Girl before we segue?
No,
Okay,
I don't have any thoughts about her.
that's good.
And she doesn't have any thoughts either.
Yeah, as I say, I don't think she has any thoughts, just period. But alrighty. Well, now you can select a subject for me to rant about and give you a break.
Hmm. Roads in Indiana.
Ugh. You know, I've done a lot of driving over the years, gone a lot of places. I've been on some really miserable roads. Like, I've driven over my fair share of roads that really needed a lot of help. And nothing drove me, no pun intended, nothing drove me more crazy than the fucking roads of Indiana. Indiana's big problem is it's a state that thinks it's cooler than it actually is. But its other problem is that they seem to really have a fetish for letting you know when you're driving your car. Even if you're capable of seeing at the windshield, they have this fetish for just letting the driver know when the fuck they are going under or over a bridge. I don't know where this fetish came from. I don't know why they have this fetish. It beats me. It baffles the hell out of me. But there it is. Just right there for everyone to see. A whole ass fetish. I think I ended up taking. I used to have a 2014 Ford Focus. Um, I currently have a 2012, hopefully for not much longer. Um, Although I'll get into that story in a second, because I have to rant about that now because I opened that Pandora's box. But that was a pretty. I mean, it was used. It was used at the time, but still, it the car didn't have a lot of miles on it. It had about 42,000 miles on it when I bought it.
So
Yeah. So it
I thought I
did.
had a little more actually.
I could have swore
I
I
thought it
hit.
was like in the 60s.
No, I think it was around the 40s because I do recall hitting like 44,444 miles, and I thought that was really cool because it was magical number. And then the transmission detonated, and then I had no car. Yay! But anyways, so I took that car out to Ohio to see Logan and the crew, and upon going through Indiana, my alignment got thrown out. Like, my alignment did not go out until I hit Indiana because the roads just sucked that bad. The roads were just so horrible. Like, I don't know why I-70 just does not get funded by the Illinois Department of Transportation, but they just need to fucking pave the roads. Like, it's not that hard. Like, and it's one of those states that you drive through and you know they never work on the roads because there are no signs. Like, there are no construction cones lying around. Sometimes you go through a job site or like a part of the highway, and you can tell like they might have worked on it at some point because there's still like construction cones laying around. Yeah, you never have that problem in Indiana. There's never that problem in that state. You drive around, there's never any signs saying, road construction ahead. Nothing. Nothing. It's just shitty roads. Like, I was happy to leave Illinois. I was so happy to leave that state. I fucking hate Illinois. Illinois by far is probably the one of the, if not the worst state in the union. But when I was coming home, after I was moving back with all my stuff, because I had to drive through that state. I was going home, coming back, and then returning home with my stuff. So 3 times in about a month span. And that final trek back east across Indiana, I was so happy. Like, me and my cousin were flipping off each state as like we left it. That one got a double fisted middle finger. Like, that was 2 middle fingers proudly in the
That was
air.
hands off the wheel.
I wasn't driving. I was sitting firmly in the passenger seat, and then I only drove a little bit of the way through Massachusetts because my uncle was getting tired, and I was unfortunately falling asleep behind the wheel. Also, my fucking cousin, who had his learner's permit, didn't bring it with him, so we couldn't let him drive, and then he wouldn't drive because he just didn't want to. It's like, thanks, buddy. He's like, well, you shouldn't be driving because you're tired. And it's like, okay, well, why don't you drive? And he's like, well, I don't want to. And it's like, well, Dave can't drive because he's tired.
About to say, like, he totally left that shit behind on purpose.
Yeah. That's like my brother when, he's supposed to pay me back. I'm like, hey, you need to pay me back. And he goes, okay, let me, I'll put some gas in your car. And then we get to the gas station. Oh, I left my wallet at home. It's like, you fucking asshole. Toby. But roads in Indiana just, ugh. No. That's all I have to say about it. It's been a while. Haven't been through there. Don't have much to say.
They're going at it again.
Oh, well, then I'll find something else to talk about so you can go deal with that. Toby, you are
I'm
still.
gonna go play a bass aggressively at them and see how they feel about that. Before I go, Mr. Boudreaux, take it away on what you love so much about the Ford Focus.
So I've always loved the Ford Focus. I fell in love with the redesign in 2012. I thought they were very classy. I liked it. I loved the looks. And then they got to like 2015 through 20, I think it was 19. And those Ford Focuses with like the very narrow slit headlights. Oh, so fucking nice looking. The hatchback. I remember getting ready to buy my Ford Focus the first time around. And actually, hold on. I gotta close these windows because it's getting cold out there. Give me 1 second. Okay, sorry. It was humid and now it's not, so just trying to not be cold. But anyways, so I loved the redesign for the Ford Focus, and when I was getting ready to buy my first Ford Focus back in 2018, I had found a couple of Ford Focus STs, which I was so in love with because I'm like, ooh, and it's a 6 speed. I think it was a 6 speed. Yeah, it was a 6 speed. It was a 6 speed, and like I really wanted it. A lot of contributing factors, swayed me into not getting it. But point of the matter is, um, so I ended up getting stuck with a sedan model. Now, I figured, well, if I'm gonna buy a Ford Focus and I'm gonna be stuck driving it every day, I'm gonna want one of the nice ones. Something that I'll enjoy driving every day. Something that it's just a nice car. Can I pick up? Thank you. Um, Toby, just lay down, please. Okay, we're not doing cats. No, you are a cat. Go lay down. Yep, you are a cat. pay attention to you, okay? Now please go lay down or something. Anyways, I don't know what his issue is. He's just walking around in a circle around me, and I keep petting him, and he just keeps wanting more pets. And it's like, okay, I'll keep petting you. And then after like 30 minutes, like, okay, I'm kind of done. And he doesn't understand that. He's not particularly a fan. But anyways, enough about my cat problems. So I ended up with a 2014 Ford Focus. It was pretty sure it was an SSE. I'm not sure what the fuck an SSE is, but like I'm 90,000% positive it said SSE on the trunk. Um, I'm pretty sure I have that photo still. But anyways, so it was a Ford. It was pretty nice. It has like a couple like little extra bells and whistles that the regular Ford Focus didn't have. It had like it was a button on the in the rear view mirror that I could click, and it would change the color of the interior lighting. Um, it had a nicer wheels package. The stereo was pretty nice. It had, I don't know, it had a few more features that I liked about it. Um, that I was, it was nice. I liked it. Unfortunately, that car was involved in an accident at some point, and the dealership didn't exactly disclose that. Or well, I had a certain someone go look at that car because they were so hell bent on going to look at the car without me because so many reasons. I'm not gonna open up that rabbit hole, but like I refuse to open up that rabbit hole. Point being is when I asked this certain someone if they had checked the Carfax, they said they had, or yeah, they stated they had, and I'm like, okay, um, or yeah, was it though? No, because I remember being on the phone asking questions about it, and I asked if they checked the Carfax, and they just kind of hurriedly threw that question and kept talking, and I'm like, so what did the Carfax say? Yeah, it's clean, whatever. I'm like, okay, are you sure? They're like, yep. So apparently, what ended up happening, that I found out later from the dealer, was that this certain someone didn't actually ask for the Carfax and just kind of rushed it through and took word of mouth as an acceptable approach to learning about the history of a vehicle. Which I don't know if any of you have ever bought a car before, but that's not a good way to go. So, apparently, with this car was involved in a accident from the rear end. They did work on it. Well, that didn't really help the car along. And also, the 2014 Ford Focuses were notorious for transmission issues, which is something that Ford also had issues with just the Ford Focus altogether. I don't know what crack Ford was smoking at this point, but for whatever reason, when they redesigned the Ford Focus for the 2012 model year, they decided, you know what, this car needs a completely new, transmission. The transmission just absolutely needs to be redone for the car. It needs to be just 100% different, and they made the most clusterfuck transmission I have ever had the displeasure of driving. By at least 60,000 miles, this car's transmission likes to buck. It doesn't shift as smooth as it used to. And most of the time, by at least, uh, in most cases, the transmission in a very short time frame would require a rebuild. In some cases, the transmission would have total failure and would require a whole new transmission to be put into the car. Um, it just was an utterly shit transmission. It just, I don't know what crack Ford was smoking, but they were just clearly on some fucking drugs because this transmission is it's horrible. It's miserable. They kind of rectified it in later model years, but even still, some of the Focuses had problems, and there was a big lawsuit against Ford. There was a huge lawsuit against Ford. Um, like they didn't deny that there were problems with it; they just didn't really care. So a lot of these lawsuits ended with Ford having to basically put brand new transmissions in these cars. I don't believe I qualified for that lawsuit. I also didn't try to go through that lawsuit because that would have been a nightmare. Because I'm a second or third owner of this car, and they could be like, "Well, you should have known. That sucks to be you." Anyways, so the 2014 didn't work out. I was actually quite upset because I liked that car. It was nice. It just had a lot of creature features that I enjoyed. Um, I did particularly with that car. I liked the side view mirrors. They just had the I don't know what the fuck you call it. It's the like the blind spot part of the mirror. It had like just these big.
Blind spot monitoring.
It's not really monitoring because there wasn't a light. It's just these extra mirrors on the side view mirror that shows your blind spot. I guess it's blind spot monitoring. I don't know, but I associate blind spot monitoring with like the little lights that pop up on the side of the mirrors
You
nowadays.
had like those like what you see in like a gas station, like the anti-theft mirrors, those
Yeah,
convex mirrors.
yeah. It
Yeah,
it has like a wider angle. It was smaller, but it like showed more. It was like a
yeah.
wide angle lens.
I know
Um,
what you're talking about.
yeah. So I had one of those, and my current Ford Focus has one as well. Like I think that was just standard for Ford Focuses, and I think that's standard on most vehicles of that time. Nowadays, they just have like the blind spot monitoring system, which is cool, but I don't know if any cars still incorporate like the wide angle mirror or whatever the fuck you want to call it. But anyways, so I liked it, but I got rid of the car. So over time, especially as like 2020 was pushing along, I really, 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 really needed a fuel efficient car, something that just I could putt around town with, I could abuse more, especially while my Crown Vic was out of service because it needed a lot of work. Um, and like, yeah, I could have put in for that work or got all that work done, but I still was pretty much under the mindset like I need something more fuel efficient. Um, Hi, Toby. So I ended up finding a 2012 hatchback, an SE, and I bought it, and it wasn't bad. The transmission definitely had that kicking problem, which I'm like, ugh, not again. Um, and for a while, this car really wasn't bad. Like I was very happy to have a Ford Focus again. Then the problems started to arise. Um, the car for a little while was, well, still is. Um, the car had this funky little issue of stalling. It seemed like to me whenever I would start, stop, the car was flooding itself or something. I couldn't quite figure out what, but the car wasn't getting fuel to something properly. I don't know. It was just filling itself with too much fuel or something. Again, I don't know. Um, but it was annoying because like I don't want my car to do this. I want my car to start every time and run. But the issue is with the Ford Focus, these things aren't very easy to work on. It's a very compact, very electronic-based engine, so it's not incredibly easy to work on. It also has a bad exhaust leak somewhere, or the air cabin filter needs to be changed, or something. There's just a bad exhaust smell when you run the heater. The front panels, the black panels that are supposed to be kind of like protecting the engine bay from stuff being thrown up into it from the tires, those are all missing. Because the Focus seemed to have a bad issue with those just coming off the car. Like an older model Ford Focus between that model year 2012 and whatnot, like it seemed like with the 2012s through 2014s, they had a bad issue of those black panel pieces just leaving. Because even the 14 that I had owned for a little bit, one of the black panel pieces was loose. And when I bought my car, like, I had a black panel piece left on the bottom of the front bumper. Uh, yeah, I've liked the Ford Focuses, but I will never, ever buy one again unless it is a standard. I will buy a standard. If I can find a standard, I would buy it. Generally speaking, I haven't heard too many problems with the standard. But this car just sucks. Like I don't know. Like I still see them everywhere. I don't know how some people put up with them. I really don't. It's kind of a shit tier car. Like, to put it into perspective, I would almost rather drive a Pontiac Aztek.
Man,
Yeah. And if you don't know what that is, please look it up. If you are unaware of what a Pontiac Aztek looks like, I encourage you to look it up. Like, that truly is a shit tier car. Not mechanically, it just looks ugly. Like, I don't know anyone who's ever gone, man, I saw a Pontiac Aztek today, and I liked it. No, it's usually, what the fuck is that? Usually what that sounds like. No, Ford Focus is just never again. Like, I truly am committed to the idea of this will be my last Ford Focus.
dilly dilly.
Like, fool me once, you know, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. It mm-mm, not a good car. Which sucks because they look good, but it's like a woman, you know. You find a really good looking woman, and then she just turns out to be fucking crazy. Or like her mother kind of sucks.
Honestly, that's just about worse.
Yeah. Like, I've met plenty of great women. Then it just comes down to her mother. Like, even Hannah. Like, don't get me wrong. I do miss her mother. Her mother was very nice towards the end. But, uh, we had too many battles. Way too many battles. God damn it. Dry throat. Don't yawn. Ugh.
Fucking A.
Oh, there he goes again. Oh, I guess I will tell you guys about my experience the other day. So, as stated in the last live stream, I was getting ready to purchase a firearm, and I did. I have successfully purchased my first firearm. I was going out for a Taurus G2C. Again, if you are unaware of what these are or look like, you are more than welcome to look it up. Um, anyways, so I was gonna go out and buy a Taurus G2C, as that's what my friend had recommended for me. I got there, and the guy at the store was actually really nice. He was very, very good about. He was very understanding. I'll put it that way. I walked into the store, and I basically told the guy, like, hey, listen, I don't know anything about guns. I do want a gun. Um, Kind of under the mindset of home defense, but more along the lines of I would like to take the gun and go to the range with my father. I would like to use it as a bonding experience with my father. I'd like to do it for kind of the sport of it, and eventually, as I get used to a small firearm, I would like to get a rifle, and I would like to go hunting. I would like to be a little more resourceful. I'd like to shoot a deer and collect the meat and consume the meat. That's what I'd like to do. I'd like to hunt. I've never been before. I'd love to go. I would truly love to go hunting. I never did get the chance when I was a kid, and I grew up in a house of women, and my mom is very much against hunting. Um, she just doesn't like killing animals, and like I get that too, but like it's a good skill to have, in my opinion. And that's just my opinion. It to me is a good skill to have. Um, and like it's also a huge pastime in the state of Maine. Like that's kind of a part of the state's culture and identity is hunting and outdoors, outdoorsy. So, um, but that being said, so I wanted my first firearm, and I told the guy, like I said, I don't know shit about guns. Like anything I'm going to know about guns, I'm going to learn from my father. He was a Marine Corps, so he knows quite a bit about guns. His training is quite extensive. He's not like huge into firearms, where like he'll chat your ear off about guns, and he's always talking about guns. But like my dad is very knowledgeable about guns. Like I said, he's very well spoken in that department. But so I went out to Cabela's, and the guy's like, all right, well, so what are you looking for? I'm like, well, I'm really looking for um, kind of something inexpensive. I am kind of on a budget. I don't want to pay $1,000 for a firearm and stuff like that, but I am on a budget. I do have a buddy that works here, works in the gun library. Um, he kind of recommended a Taurus G2C. I believe it was like, I think it was calling it a G1C earlier, maybe in the day. But he knew what I was talking about, and he's like, all right. So he had me hold it and stuff like that, and kind of get a feel for it. Kind of not point it at people, but kind of hold it and point it towards the wall and stuff like that. And he's like, all right, so hold it like he taught me how to hold it properly and stuff like that. And, kind of practice a little bit of, I guess it's trigger discipline. Obviously don't be putting your hand, your finger right on the trigger. You hold it here and stuff like that. But he had me hold the gun, and he's like, "How does it feel?" I'm like, "It's okay." He's like, "A little big, huh?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "No offense. I mean, it seems very big." And he explained, it's not like a side by side where you have like two bullets sitting side by side, but kind of like zigzag patterns to where it's like it's a little bit of a wider magazine. It holds 12 instead of the standard 8 or 9. So the grip is a little wider to accommodate the wider magazine. He said, not to be rude, but your hands are kind of small. I'm like, no offense. I mean, I've known that for a long time. I do have kind of small hands, not really big hands. They're small. I kind of have my mom's hands. I've always said. Um, Nothing wrong with that. But so he's like, well, I do have some other recommendations. It's going to be a little higher than what you're looking for, but if you're willing and stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'll try anything. So we went through, and I held a bunch of different guns. The first one he showed me was a Smith and Wesson 380 EZ. Um, Really nice gun, actually. I liked it a lot from the get go, and I got to hold it, and it felt good in my hand. I'm like, this feels good. Like I like this, how this feels in particular. And he brought out a couple different guns, and he actually just showed me some guns just for the hell of it, just to kind of show me what other ones are out there and what they're feeling like, and why this gun is built this way. Like he showed me a Beretta, and he's like, Berettas are usually for competitive shooters and stuff like that. And it was very, very heavy but very sturdy gun. And he held some revolvers. Like a revolver was like $1,700. I don't remember what it was exactly, but like I said, I don't know shit about guns. Exactly, Toby. What the fuck was that? What are you doing back there? Anyways, I don't know shit about guns. Um, I'm gonna be learning as I go forward with my father. But like that was a beautiful, and still is. Was a beautiful gun. It was very pretty. Like I could appreciate that. I do have a good appreciation for craftsmanship, and that gun was it was very, very pretty. Um, It was very heavy too, and he explained why. There was a bunch of different guns. He did a kind of he explained to me, he's like, for a beginner, someone who's just kind of getting their bearings about owning a weapon, he's showed me a few recommendations. Like my other recommendation is the 380 EZ. And I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? I'm very adamant about getting this done today because I just, or at least getting the process started today because uh, I don't know exactly when I'm going to have time off again. And of course, my luck, things tend to pop up. So I would like to go ahead and just get it all done today. And so I chose the 380Z. And this is where I got introduced to the whole rhetoric of, gun control and, maybe redoing how the process works. So I've, for a long time, have heard how these things work, how gun sales work, and such and so on and so forth. And I have heard that the state of Maine is a little relaxed in our how we do things. Um, but again, this was my first introduction to how it all really works. So basically, the process was, they take my ID, jot down some information, pull up a computer or a little tablet, and I have to read and acknowledge a few statements. Um, I then have to go over, a few laws and stuff like that, and acknowledge the laws and so on and so forth. And then I have to go through and read a couple of questions and answer them. Have you ever been convicted of a felony? Have you ever convicted of domestic violence? Or have you had mental health issues that you've been put in a psychiatric ward for? So on and so forth. And we go from there. And then they run your name through a background check, or you run your name through a system, see if there's any flags that pop up. Which actually, oddly enough, mine did, but it was just the last name out of a different state. The guy came by, cleared it because it wasn't me. I mean, my record's pretty clean. I've always had a clean record. Um, and if I don't, well, no news to me. But point being is, he whatever, and it was about maybe 10 minutes to do all the paperwork and shit, and then it was about maybe 15 minutes for them to kind of go back in the back room and then come out and cash me out. So all in all, the process all itself took about 50 minutes, and that was. Yeah, and I had to send my brother back to my house because originally the gun I came in for was about $250. The one I walked out with was about $450, $500 with tax. Um, so I had to send my brother back to my house to get money. So I'm like sitting there waiting. But just including the time that I waited, it was about 50 minutes from the time I walked into the store to the time I walked out of the store to buy a gun for the first time. When you think about that, it's kind of scary. Like, they don't really ask a lot of questions. Oh, and I signed a few waivers to like waive Cabela's of any wrongdoing if like I shoot my friend by accident, or if I get hurt handling my firearm, or if like I go cause a shooting of some kind, or I go commit a crime or something. Like I can't come back on Cabela's and be like, oh well, they sold me the firearm, so like if they hadn't, I wouldn't have done that. Actually, I should have had Sean sign a waiver about the Carrot Bassett, so he can't come back at me someday.
You can't blame your mental health problems on the Carabasset Valley Railroad.
If you ever develop mental health problems, you are not entitled to compensation. But no, it was just the more I thought about it, especially, even sitting down earlier talking with Sean, it's like that's all there is to do in Maine about buying a gun. You just go to the store, they run a little check on your name, see if any flags pop up. Um, yeah, that's about it. Yeah, like I said, I signed a waiver, a couple waivers, and then they went back in their little office, did a couple things, and then yeah, that was it. That was it. That was literally the whole gun buying process in the state of Maine. So I can kind of see the argument. There might need to be a little more to the whole process. I don't think that's a unreasonable statement, Sean. I think it's a
No.
pretty reasonable statement to make. Just it was weird. That's all it was. It was just weird because like even because they basically I gave them the money. They gave me my receipt. Have a great day. I'm like, oh, you know, the guy also didn't give me a bag either, so it was just kind of weird because I have like a box of ammunition, a free hat, a gun, which is in a box, but a bottle of water that I walked in with and my sunglasses, and I'm like trying to carry it out of the store, and I'm like, a couple of times, like I kind of like took a couple of turns to take the long way walking out of the store because I'm like, am I like doing this correctly? Am I supposed to like give them the money and wait a little bit, or is someone supposed to come talk with me? Is this a scam? Um, and like I intentionally stopped at the customer service desk walking out of the store just to like see if they needed anything from me. I thanked them, whatever, and then when they kind of just went back to doing whatever they were doing, I'm like, okay. And, like walked out of the store, got in my car. I sat there for a little bit. I'm like waiting for the FBI or the ATF to like pop out of the bushes and like arrest me. I'm like, okay. I got in my car and drove away. I'm like, I feel like I just committed a crime. Like I feel like I committed a crime. I haven't even done anything yet. The gun is still in the box in the wrapping with the gun lock still over the trigger.
I love how you say I haven't even done anything yet.
Well, it's a big world and I'm angry, so it's something's bound to happen.
Oh
Next
dear.
next
Anyway,
next on 5 o'clock news. Um, yeah, but like I hadn't done anything. I got on the highway and like I was constantly looking in the rearview mirror for the state police, thinking they're gonna come arrest me. Like they're gonna come for me. Nope, I got all the way home. Well, I got home, grabbed my other car, went to the rooster, waited around, which that was the other part of my day. So I had a woman coming to look at the Ford Focus that I'm selling because I want to get rid of this car. I don't like this car anymore. And originally they had messaged me some time ago, like a week or two ago, around Memorial Day, and asked. I think it was actually Memorial Day. They wanted to come look at the car, and I'm like, no. I worked all morning. I'm gonna sit in my in my side yard. I'm gonna drink Mike's Hard Lemonade, and I'm gonna tan. No one is coming to disturb me. I am not moving. If I'm moving, someone's gonna get my foot up their ass. So I told this woman like no. So finally they messaged me like the night prior and asked if they could come see the car the next day. And I'm like, sure, you can come see the car the next day because that's part of the selling process. But I suck at selling cars nowadays because I really just hate people. And like I want to sell the car, but every time someone messages me about the car, I get annoyed. I'm like, how dare you disturb me while I'm sitting at home thinking about selling this car? And how dare you inquire about me selling this car? But holy shit, just buy this car.
no ask, only buy.
Basically, that's what I'm at right now. It's like, just buy the car. I don't care. Like, just buy it. If you have a question, look it up. Like, people keep asking me, is the car rusty? And my answer to that is, the car has lived in New England for its entire life. This car was registered in New Hampshire and it came to Maine. So I'm going to take a flying guess and assume that yes, this car is rusty. And then they ask, well, how do you not know it's rusty? Well, I can't tell you how many times I look under my car, but usually it's zero. I usually am not under my car. I'm usually behind the wheel of the car, but I'm usually not under the car. Like, I'm usually always above the car. So, no, I can't actually tell you how rusty it is. But, again, just knowing what I know about the state of Maine and how, salt works, um, yeah, it's probably rusty to some capacity. But that's all I got really at this point. I always love that question. That's always a fun question because when I answer them that, they just get so put off. They never like that answer, and it's like, I don't own a lift. I don't hang out at a garage. I don't really know a lot of people with a lift that I could just borrow so I could just stare at the under part of my car. Like, I only know what the underside of my Crown Vic looks like is because my ex's father owned a gas station with a garage. So I had the ability to go put the car up on a lift. Ta-da! Um, yeah, so this woman messages me, asked to come see the car. I'm like, all right, fine. So she wanted to take the car for a test drive, which is my other biggest issue. Now, if this was me when I had the Subaru, I was all for it. I did not mind at all giving people test drives. But something I've noted is people really do like to come out and waste your time. Sometimes people see a car for sale and they go, huh, I wonder what that's like. And they might not actually be in the market for that car, but they're curious as to, well, just that car in general. What that car drives like. How does it feel? Maybe they're not looking to buy your car exactly, but it's easier than going to a dealership. We call those people tire kickers. They're just looking to waste time. So generally speaking, and this rule applies very strictly with my stepdad, serious inquiries only. Like if you're not willing to buy the car that day, and if you're not willing to discuss cash or like money options, you're probably not going to get behind the wheel. And I've kind of gotten serious about the mindset of like, if you want to test drive, that's fine. If you buy the car after the test drive, okay. But if you do not buy the car, you owe me $75 for the test drive. For wear and tear on the car and wasting my fucking time. That's just a good way of A, getting people to yell at you on Craigslist, but also B, preventing people from wasting your time. But anyways, so this woman wanted to take the car for a test drive, which I'm like, no, I don't want to get into a car with a bunch of people I don't know and take it for a test drive. Also, the car hasn't been running correctly, so I'm just trying not to push it. I'm just trying not to push it because I don't know if this Ford Focus is going to break down on me today, tomorrow, or the next day. It's just annoying. Like, this car is going to need work at some point. I don't know when. I really don't. So, while it's working halfway correctly, I'm just trying to preserve the car. Um, it runs fine so far, but again, my luck, it won't. So, she asked to take the test drive. I'm like, nah, really not keen on that idea. So I came up with an excuse. I'm like, well, I actually have to go into work today, so I'm not able to do a test drive and stuff like that. She's like, oh, that's fine. And like I said, I spoke to this one before. You work in downtown Saco, right? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, well, we can just come to you at your work because I work at a restaurant. They can come get supper or whatever and whatnot. I'm like, yeah, I'm a little busy and I don't want to just give you the keys and let you just drive over.
Meander wherever the fuck.
Yeah. And she's like, well, that's fine. We're just going to take it around the block. Like, you can trust us. I'm like, yeah, I also only have liability on my insurance. And again, I'm not really comfortable with just giving the keys to someone and just being like, all right, bye. I'm also like, and my plates are also expired. So, like, I also really don't want to push that because I have been pulled over before about that. Not in this car, but I have been pulled over before about that. So, like, if you get stopped in my car, they're going to realize it's my car. Also, it's liability insurance, which technically you're not supposed to be behind the wheel of. So it's a whole big thing. Oh, I've driven around with plates that are expired before, so, and I've never gotten stopped, so it's usually okay. And it's like, you're not taking the hint, lady. Like, I don't want to give you a test drive. So finally, I'm like, all right, if you want to come meet me at my job, that's fine. I don't have to give them a test drive. Just because they drive all the way out to me doesn't mean jack shit. Um, so they come out and I meet them out there, and I was upfront with them about what to expect with a 2012 Ford Focus, common problems the car has. I told them about the transmission, just because like, hey, I'm not gonna totally dick you over with this car. Like I'm not just gonna lead you in blind, sell you the damn thing, and then just send you on my way. I mean, I am selling the car as is, so anything that happens to it the minute you pay me, that's your problem. Um, but they came out and they seem interested enough, but yeah, I'm not entirely sure because the issue is like my fucking conscience popped up. Now this car, like I said, it will need some work at some point. When I don't know because that transmission is just a ticking time bomb. The girl who wants to buy the car, or well, wants the car, I believe either she graduated high school or she's graduating college. I can't remember which one. I'm pretty sure it's high school because she looked pretty young, and her mom was wearing a Yarmouth Academy sweater, which is the high school up that way. So I'm pretty sure she's in high school or had just graduated high school. So I'm sitting there thinking, ugh, she's a high schooler. She doesn't have money. I mean, yeah, her parents might, but I'm sure they're not going to want to support their child forever in a Sunday. And she got talking about how she needs a car for college and stuff like that, and I'm sitting there going, ah, boy. I really don't want to set this poor girl up to buy a car that potentially will have some problems later down the road. Like, also no pun intended. Um, I couldn't do it, so I just kind of told him, oh, like the car wasn't running right when I drove up, stuff like that. It needs a tune up. Like I'm gonna go get it looked at, and then I'm probably just gonna tell her like this really isn't the car for you. So I made a few other suggestions for cars for her to look at, and I hate to do that because I just want to sell the fucking car. Like I am the worst salesman ever. I am the worst salesman. Like I couldn't sell you a pile of shit if I tried. And like kind of wasted my whole day because like I just wanted to go home. I just wanted to go home and sit in front of my computer and rant to you guys about Lord knows what. You know, kind of observe my new gun and just kind of see what it, just read the manual, go through all that stuff, just, whatever. Just sit at home and just relax. And nope, here I am feeling guilty about trying to sell my piece of shit car to some poor girl and then going, well, she shouldn't get stuck with this. And it's like, and then I keep looking at the car all day, yesterday and today, and I keep looking at it, and I'm looking at it, and it's like I said, I still like the car. It was a fun car. I'm just not looking forward to the issues it's having. I don't really have the want to repair those issues because the car has already costed me, like, yeah, I've had it for a year. I only bought it for $3,800. I still got about a little over $2,000 left on the loan. There is also another car that I really want to buy, 6-speed manual Hyundai Elantra GT, but I can't go out and buy that car until I sell this car and at least have something to put down for that car. But it's like, I also just, I don't know. I just hate this Ford Focus. Kind of just want to light it on fire and see what happens. Like, fire is fun. Fire is great. Fire is something I appreciate. Sean, do you like fire?
I liked fire a lot more before you went on that whole fire is fun, fire is great bullshit.
You know what? I'm going to light you on fire because now you don't like fire.
Well, as it happens, because I don't like fire, I'm now fireproof, so
Nope. As a matter of fact, Sean, you dropped your pocket.
did I know?
Mm-hmm. pulling a classic parrot.
Did you?
I wonder what he's up to lately. I haven't talked to him in a minute.
I don't know. Probably sitting in a cage bitching about
You know,
as parrots do.
I would say, wait, no, I see what you did there. No, don't fucking finger snap me. Don't fucking finger snap me. What the fuck do you think this is? Fucking finger snap me, I'll finger snap you. Yeah, that's, I don't know. Like I said, I really, really, really want to sell that car because I would really love that Hyundai Elantra. Like, I would just like something that works. It's like, that was the other thing, too. I was driving home last night, and the stereo just kind of clicked off. I'm like, huh, that's new. It just stopped working. I'm like, oh, that's great. I wasn't listening to that or anything. Just didn't want to listen to that. Cool, great. Glad we could have this conversation. And it's like, what else is going to go wrong with this car? And I know I shouldn't say that out loud because something is going to go wrong with this car now. But at this point, it's like every day is something new. And this ties back to my Ford Focus rant. Like, this car just sucks. Like, any mechanic that I've ever talked to. Yeah, what kind of car do you own? A Ford Focus. Oof. It's never a good sign when a mechanic, or most mechanics, kind of look at you. Kind of give you that look when you tell them what you drive. It's like, yeah, listen, I know I fucked up. You don't have to remind me. Like, I am already well aware I made no good choices for the day. So if you could just kindly stop trying to remind me that, be lovely. We could just go about our business. We don't have to talk about it. Like, Sean and I don't have to talk about it. It's fine.
Nope.
It's fine. We don't have to talk about it. Nothing to talk about. This is a talk-free zone.
And yet here you are.
Talking about it. Because I am just floored with this car.
Really?
Yes. I greatly hate this car. Like, there is a long, long list of things I would much rather do than own this car. Up to and including dating my ex-fiance again. Like, I know that's a default I, resort to quite often, but it's there. That is something I would enjoy doing again. More so than owning this car. Uh-oh, I'm yawning. Stop that. Ah, shit. Ugh. Oh, and I gotta wake up at 10 a.m. Ugh. I don't want to wake up at 10 a.m. Actually, wait, Sean, can you wake up at 10 a.m. for me?
No.
You are very not helpful.
I pride myself.
Like, the help desk at the IRS is more helpful.
Yeah.
And that's saying something. Because I had to call them once, back when I did my taxes. I should probably do that. Like, I'm not intentionally, like, evading doing my taxes. I just suck at getting them done. I suck at, responsibilities. And like
I don't intentionally pay my taxes. I just choose not to think about them until 1 a.m. in the morning.
I say, I don't intentionally forget to do my taxes. I just, avoid them until the IRS just, decides to do something about it. Then I get angry because I'm like, why the fuck? What gives them any right to fucking do shit about this? To which they inform me, well, you didn't do your taxes. And it's like, yeah, but that's no good reason. Yeah, I've successfully built on and off ramps. Now all we need now is a barrier. Actually, there's something for you to bitch about, Sean. Dean sicking.
I knew he was gonna come up. Like even before you said barriers, I knew like the next like non-controversial topic of conversation to get me fucking going is gonna be Dean goddamn sicking. And you know what? I will get going about that because he can suck both of my nuts, lefty and righty, one at a time. Fuck Christ, what a fucking dickhead. He's not even like a dickhead, he's just too good at it. And so he masturbates to himself being good at engineering instead of doing his fucking job. Like, okay, sure, you designed the safer barrier, and that's pretty poggers. You've saved a lot of lives. You've also designed most of the highway barriers that you see out there today. That's also pretty poggers. Saved hella lives. But I need to learn kinematics and dynamics. And instead of teaching me about kinematics and dynamics, you're masturbating to your fucking barriers all day. And that's not helping me. Like, the dude got a Presidential Medal of Freedom for a reason. No, his contributions to society are great. But holy fuck, he has fucked over my education single handedly more than any other individual, period.
You know the shitty thing about it all, too, Sean?
Is I paid like over $2,000 to sit in classes led by Dean fucking Sicking.
You know the other shitty thing about all this, Sean?
That I had to make projects that were basically his engineering projects just to see if we would come up with a concept that was actually worth pursuing so that he wouldn't have to do the work.
You know what else sucks about all this, Sean?
The fact that he pulled all the fucking grades out of a hat so you could randomly get an A and then a C and there would be no rhyme or reason.
But you know what else really sucks about this, Sean?
The fact that he probably had Parkinson's and couldn't do anything other than stare directly at the floor, so if you weren't on the first row, you couldn't fucking hear him while he was masturbating about his barrier.
Yeah, but do you know what else sucks about all this, Sean?
He lives like 3 blocks away from me, which is a problem in and of itself, but you know what else sucks about that? The fact that I haven't gone and burned his fucking house down yet.
Yeah, because you don't like fire. But you know what else really sucks about all this, Sean?
Fuck you. The fact that you keep beating a fucking dead horse.
I need to tell that story. Yeah, but do you know what else sucks about this, Sean?
What fucking else sucks?
I'm glad you asked because what really sucks about all this is he sucks as a teacher. Like he's just a horrible teacher. And that is depressing because like your future rides on the fact of like can he teach or not. And like
Yeah.
when you get sad, you want to kill yourself. And most of the times it's just easy to drive off the road, but you can't because there's his barriers in the way and they're designed to save your life. Like you can't yeet yourself off a bridge in your car because there's his barrier. There's his barrier.
On the contrary, if I wanted to eat my car off a bridge, I am more than capable of doing so. See, he did teach my kinematics and dynamics, so I know basically nothing about those two fields. I did learn plenty about fluid mechanics, So I know all of the aerodynamic bullshit needed to make my car take flight. And it doesn't take much. As it happens, all you have to do is find a place that's not protected by a guardrail, but instead a chain link fence. And once you pass through the chain link fence, the aerodynamics of a car are just good enough to allow you to plummet like 40 feet to the ground and kill yourself.
So I gotta go for a drive real quick. I'll be back eventually. TM.
Uh,
I'll be back when the Carabasset Valley Railroad's done.
so this just in, Jaden Boudreaux died of old age, never came back to his house. Toby still misses him.
That is a problem. Oh, he's sleeping. He wouldn't notice.
No bullshit, he wouldn't notice. You would be able to hear him in Carabasset Valley when his food bowl's empty.
I just leave the window open for him. I'll leave him a jacket too. He can wear it.
You know who else is sleeping?
Rowan.
Rowan is also asleep, being a very good boy.
Yeah, Toby's finally done meowing at me. I'm like,
Speaking of the...
oh,
Ethan, are you fucking watching this?
is he?
Well, he just posted in the Carabasset server, pinged both of us, and said, speaking of the Carabasset. Yes, you fucker. Uh, what questions can we answer for you? That appears to be the border crossing. Yes?
Is that the border? Why are there multiple tracks?
So we've been researching border crossings. And all the ones that we have found that are that have similar kind of traffic capacities have small little yards like that set up.
But why?
Truth be known, I don't really know. I think most of the reason is that they need like a place so like if a car gets rejected for one reason or another, there's a place to kick it off before it crosses the border. And that and having more than one track allows you to inspect more than one train. Because inspecting like a mile long train or something like that, you need room to do that.
Hmm. Hey, I don't know if it was a video intro or what it was. I think it's for someone who rail fans of the New Brunswick Southern. I think there was like a car scanner.
We have those set up. That's out of frame.
I'm gonna say I feel like that would be kind of relevant in this location. Um, I feel like all of this should be relatively close to the actual border crossing itself for the road
It
traffic.
is.
Um, you know,
We have a dirt road, and we're gonna set up an office out there to keep kind of inspectors and shit out,
yeah, that's where the border patrol would
as
probably
well
be
as
at.
border patrol and also crew change because we have to have a different crew when we go into Canada.
That sucks because it's like that. The Canadian tractor is only like 11 miles.
I mean, if you think about it though, like in one shift, a Canadian crew like they go down to the border, they hustle a train up to Lac-Méganic, then they go back to the border. Like in one shift, they can pretty reasonably hustle like 5 fucking trains up to Lac-Méganic Yard.
How would the passenger trains work though?
I don't believe we've thought that far ahead. I mean, it's kind of irrelevant at the moment because passenger doesn't run that far anymore, but I haven't actually thought out the logistics of that yet.
That sounds
I
like
think
something we
it
should do at
would.
some point.
I think it would behoove us to see if we couldn't set that up like an international flight.
Yeah.
But even then, you have customs upon getting to the destination. So
Well, because in St. Louis, an international flight from Canada, I think they were pre-cleared into the U.S. before they even departed. So,
And you know who we need to talk to about this.
Ethan
We
in
need
the
to talk to.
chat, passenger trains need
Well,
Homeland Security at the border stations.
huh? Well, I was gonna say we need to talk to Kyle since Amtrak is his job, but uh, yeah, Ethan knows.
Okay. So they need to be what, at the mechanic station, or they need to just be at the border?
Apparently at the border, I would think.
Hmm.
Also, I did hash out with Ethan all of the requirements and shit for the 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 reroute.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Like I said, it.
Mechanic and chain of
Oh yeah, the next closest station to the border, heading south, would be Chain of Ponds. Well,
fuck. That would be a terrible time at Homeland Security too. Think about how many people that train, like something like the Light Mechanic did, would have carried, especially being a
no.
daytime run
Think about how
and a coach
miserable that.
train.
Hold on. Think about how miserable that would be for the people of Chain of Ponds to have a train sitting at the crossings for a few hours as Homeland Security combs through it.
I think we really need to see if it's possible to get people pre-approved. Like, make sure like any bullshit they bring on board is pre-checked and all that.
I think it's worth noting, or just saying, that even if you do it at the border stations, like, I don't think Chain of Ponds is big enough to do that. Like, I think that would honestly be a Eustis problem because they actually have like the size and the facility for that. Like, their whole ass is a big enough station, and they're also not tying up a crossing for hours on end.
The problem is if we have if any of our trains, like say if, when we were still running the Pine Liner that would serve Chain of Ponds would probably also pass through Flagstaff. So, or it would pass into Canada. Like any given Pine Liner that's going up that way, you might as well send to Canada.
Yeah,
So it's entirely possible for a Pine Liner returning that you could have a Canadian national and not, a fucking wide cab bullshit in, but a Canadian national citizen hop off at Chain of Ponds having never even touched security if we do that. So that's kind of the flip side to it.
yeah. I mean, hmm. Yeah, like I said, I know with airplanes, the flight, because the international gate in St. Louis was gate 29. That's where customs led into, but the Air Canada flights landed and parked over at Terminal A, um, and never had to deal with customs or Homeland Security because I think everyone that on that plane was already pre-approved into the United States before that plane ever left. As far as I'm aware, I know planes and trains are two totally different things, and border crossing trains I don't believe are as common as they were at one point.
I mean, as far as I'm aware, there's only like one or two. Like, I mean, there used to be more, but I think the Vermonter is the only one that's left.
Mm,
Might be one other. I can't think off the top of my head.
yeah, yeah. You know, obviously I haven't thought this far into how this stuff works. Um, just because, well, we haven't really had to deal with a lot of passengerisms yet. Like, the rough idea of what we want and how we want it to work is laid out, but the actual, like, logistics of it and how we are going to treat it going forward is not.
the the what is there, the how is not.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that's not something we're going to have really drummed up until late along in the Carabasset itself. I don't believe, anyways.
I don't think we need to worry so much about that until probably phase two at the very least.
Yeah.
Phase two or three. That's also one that kind of depends on when we go to farming. Because while Farmington doesn't have the Union Station anymore like it used to, uh, it's still, you know, that's still one of the major Pine Liner stops. So that I think by that point I want to have Pine Linerisms in motion.
Yeah.
By that point we will have reached not Organic, North Anson. So we'll have roughly ish kind of sort of half of the route of the LML in place.
Hmm.
So then we can start to really think about that. For now, it's almost not worth thinking about.
Yeah, I mean, I know the interesting one's going to be timetables and such, just because, half the route will be done, half the route's going to kind of not be done. And not all the stations are thought up yet or placed in any capacity. And also, like, I'm glad we never did that because with the rerouting that we're doing, we're taking out the Salon station, which, um,
We're not digging out the Salon station. The Emden station will still be served off the Salon branch because Salon has a station.
so we're gonna send a Pine Liner up a branch.
I was thinking about picking up a couple of RDCs and having RDCs do branch service.
I'm sorry, what?
Could you imagine how hot a Pine Liner RDC would be, though?
Ah,
Because the answer is very hot.
I'm not sure how to feel about this at this particular second in time.
Because I want to have service up to Heartland as well.
You do realize buses are a thing, right? They're just communist taxis.
Okay, but do buses go to either of these locations either?
They could. Actually, I really don't know
They,
if they do.
they, Emden is a town with less than 1,000 people. No, the fucking bus does not go to Emden.
There are places in Maine where the bus stops. That doesn't quite make sense, but there it is, stopping there anyways.
Emden also isn't on like any major roads as far as I'm aware.
I mean more like Heartland, but
You know, Heartland also isn't on any major roads as I'm aware.
um, yeah, it is. Hold on,
The fucking map.
Heartland, Maine.
Heartland is off of Main State Route 151.
Yep. To be fair, that's a major road. Like for
Is it?
To be fair, if it's designated with a main state shield, it is a considered a highway. Like that is an important way to get around.
Actually, is it? Is it Main State or is that just a road? I honestly can't tell. It's a fucking circle on the map.
A circle?
Well, an oval because one is long as shit. I would imagine. I can't imagine Maine doing roads. Not gonna.
I'm trying to find the goddamn town.
Well, if you go to Newport and you look left,
I'm in Canada
actually,
one.
oh, that's a problem. Go out of Canada and look down. There's a big fuck off lake there.
Am I trying to find it? There's Great Moose Lake. There's Harmony.
Harmony is it's like directly below Harmony.
Let me go back to Harmony then.
Great Moose Lake. It's literally on the south side of like where the the Narrows / Great Moose Lake chokes down. That's Heartland.
Oh shit, found it.
Well done.
I think.
You literally stared directly at it and missed it.
Yeah, 151, 23, 43. Those are all main state routes. Like Elm Street leading on to whatever road that is. What are you? Academy Street. That's yeah. 151, 152, 23, and 43 all share the same road. 151, 23, 43, 150. Yeah, that's just repeating the shields over
They
again.
they all share the same road, and yet there's probably still not that damn traffic on it.
Well, point being is, if it's got a main state shield, it's still an important road. So therefore, at least Heartland of all things.
It has Main State Shield, therefore it is important. We could go up to fucking Aroostook, bud.
I mean,
I bet you there's Main State Shields up there, and I'll guarantee you there isn't a single damn important road up there.
actually, let me see. What is there going on Rustic right now? Like if you're in the
Fuck all is
east
going
of
on in
Rustic, if
Aroostook.
you're in the east side of Rustic, yeah, like Presque Isle, you got. I don't see yet 163. You got 163. You got 10, and 163 heads out that way. And that's a road right there. 11. Oh, that's where 11 ends up. Shit, I didn't know that. Winterville. Yep. Wallagrass.
That's a fucking main town right there.
Route 11 pretty much dumps you to the very end of US Route 1. Like, Main State 11 brings you to the last major intersection of US Route 1 before it dumps you into Canada. Main State 161 shares US Route 1 for a little way. But like most of the eastern or western side of Aroostook County is just untouched forest. There is nothing out there. Like that's the part of Maine where I'm telling you like there's just checkpoints for you to check in at because there is legit nothing out there.
I bet you someone probably nailed a state route shield to a tree out there.
Yeah, it's the Main State Shield with a question mark on it. Where are we? Who knows? Where are we going? Who cares? Well, how do we get there? I really don't know. You can't get there from here. Time is it? 2:38. Probably should start wrapping up soon because I do have to be up by. I have to be at the church at 10 a.m. for that funeral. And like, not to be rude, but I didn't really want to go to this funeral because I've spent just about every day this week at the Golden Rooster doing something just to kind of help out. And I also don't know anyone at I mean, I know people at this funeral, but this isn't my family. I have never met the woman who the funeral is for. And the son of the woman whose funeral this is, his daughter, apparently is less than thrilled that I still exist. So,
Go there. People don't stick around.
and there's a big party that I'm had kind of half expected to come to, and I get the feeling it's going to be at the Rooster.
There's a party that you get to go work.
Pretty much. Because that's basically how tonight worked. And the shitty thing was, they ordered pizza. They got a ton of pizza. I did not get to eat any pizza. I was sitting there hungry the whole time because, like, I'm like, all right, cool. Like, the night's getting busy, whatever. I'll just eat my wings when I get home. Then suddenly the entire family walks in, and I'm like, fuck. All right, guess I'm not eating now. I'll probably just nibble on something here shortly, and maybe I can grab a slice of pizza. Nope, didn't even get a chance. Like, well, I guess I'll just fuck myself then. They
Your
came
terms is acceptable.
they came in, made a mess, and half these people who have also worked at the Golden actually just about all of them have worked at the Golden Rooster at some point. Um, yep, they all just left. I'm like, you assholes, you knew how this was. You've been in my position before. At least put a chair up. A couple people helped, but that was about it. Everybody else just dipped. I'm like, I didn't even know this was going to happen today. No one was
To
aware
be
this was going to
fair,
happen.
I don't know. Skip seemed extremely aware, in fact, that this was going to happen today.
Skip, so what happened was this was a last minute thing that they had planned. Um, they were debating on what to do after the wake. Some suggested just going back to the houses where they've been staying, because most of them are all kind of staying in the same house. It's a big house, to be fair. Um, but some had kind of said, well, let's go down to the Rooster to get some drinks, and the owner Chris is like, well, they close at 9, and they're probably already getting ready to close up. Um, but some people left ahead of time to kind of come in and start hanging out, and then the rest just kind of showed up. Skip only had a premonition because again, I've asked previously, you know, while hanging out at this house with my buddy Nick, who is the owner's son. Um, I've asked people like, hey, what are you guys planning for after the wake? I'm just trying to get a game plan together and like also know like, are you guys gonna be coming to the Rooster? No one seemed to know what was going on. No, I don't really know yet. Like, probably not. Probably gonna come back here. Okay. But Skip, he's like, I don't know. Like, something tells me they're all going to come back here. I'm like, I don't know. And we close at 9, and about 8:30, we started to see a couple people walk in that looked like they might have come from a wake. Didn't really recognize them, but you know, no one really dresses up that nicely to come into the Rooster. But either way, and then a few minutes later, a few more people walked in, and then about 10 to close, the whole family came. And it was about 15 to close when I had to inform the kitchen, who was pretty much all closed up for the evening, that hey, your boss, whose mother died, is going to be coming in, so you might want to keep the kitchen open. To which led to one of my best quotes of the evening, because one of the cooks was very pissed off about it. And, he's like, well, my off time's 9 and I'm leaving at 9, da 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 da. I'm like, well, I'm sorry your boss's mother died, and he would like to come back to his restaurant where he can and his family can hang out. But I promise you, his mother won't do it again. She will not die again. So she will never, ever, ever inconvenience you again. I'm like, yeah, that applies to me too. She's not going to inconvenience me again. But at the same point, it's like, a little heads up would have been nice. Just so I could have eaten. Because have you ever just tried to hustle on an empty stomach, Sean?
Yep, done that.
It ain't fun. It's like, you gotta move. You gotta get out there and you gotta get it done. But it's like, yeah, my stomach's telling me otherwise. I'm getting like the gurglies and the rumbles and like the pains. And I know I need to eat. I just can't. I can see the promised land. I can see all the food. I can smell it too. And they had a Greek pizza and oh, fucking Christ. That shit smelled good. I don't know what was on it. It just smelled good. Let's see, been going for about 2 hours, and I still look like I've gotten dick all done.
That's pretty typical.
I felt so productive the other day, though, when I was ranting. Like, I got about 2.5 to 3 blocks of neighborhood put in. And today I just feel like I don't know. I don't know. And fuck you, secondly. Oh, what's tomorrow? Friday? Yeah, it's Friday. I'm still trying to image a Pineliner RDC. I'm still not sure how to feel about it. The question is, where the fuck are we gonna get an RDC?
There's quite a few of them running around.
Are they still operating, or
Some are. We get these in particular. Paint scheme wouldn't change too much.
BC Rail doesn't look half bad.
BC Rail honestly had one of the best RDC schemes. Not gonna.
Sorry, I'm just looking at Ethan's little border crossing scene real quick that I'm just checking out. I think I see the road where he bridges over. The road leading to the checkpoint. I think that's what that is. Yeah, that is a nice scheme. Also to note, I don't believe, off the top of my head, I don't believe there's actually like a wall or fence of any sorts that sits along the U.S. Maine border, or the U.S. Canadian border up in Maine, whatever it is. I'm having a stroke. Also tired. Um, kind of believe it's just a large clearing in the trees. Because I know people would snowmobile up there, because you're allowed to do that. But I don't believe there's like a fence or anything to keep people from just wandering across. But you know, yeah, it's okay. Now look, he's doing the road checkpoint. Yeah, that was always gonna be a bitch. I was always curious of how I was gonna tackle doing the border checkpoint coming into Maine and Canada. I'm just glad that we have this one versus some of the other ones, like along U.S. Route 2, I think, or up in Jackman. That is a large facility, and that would have been a pain in the ass to make. Like Ethan, if you're ever curious, go look at the border crossing up in Jackman. Yeah, I don't like that one either. That one's okay, but I'm gonna stop looking now so I can build because no one can see the stream or the chat.
That's fine. They don't have to.
No, they have to.
Ooh, the CP Rail ones are actually kind of fucking cool.
No, those aren't half bad.
The Alaska Railroad runs RDC, so clearly we're in the right direction if we're running RDC.
Yeah, but they don't have barns and we do, so clearly, like, we messed up somewhere.
You see, fortunately, the railroad hired one Jaden Boudreaux.
I don't think they hired him. I think he just kind of stumbled upon this.
He appeared, and then the Barnes followed, and no one was okay with that. But we just kind of had to deal with it.
I still was hoping for a custom cab where there was Taco Bell wrappers and Pepsi cans just laying around.
One day, buddy.
Also, speaking of, I haven't been to Taco Bell in a hot minute. Like, every time I go, I am either, like, visually assaulted by the employees at the Biddeford location, or just the customer service at the Saco location just absolutely kills. Like, I wait 45 minutes to be thoroughly disappointed every time. And I'm not paying for that. I'm sorry, I'm not paying for that. Like, I have been having a huge hankering for tacos, and I probably will break down and go tomorrow. But I also should really do my dishes. But that's not going to happen either, so.
Jaden.
I probably should also do my taxes. That is going to happen at some point. I will get fed up enough, I just break down and do my taxes.
You ever get so pissed off supposed to be doing that you actually do it?
You ever just get so fed up with the day that you just, do your taxes? You ever just get annoyed that
Sure.
you're not getting laid, that you just do your taxes?
I can't say that one's happened to me yet.
You ever just really get tired of life and you just do taxes? You ever just get fed up with how unsuccessful you were and you become an accountant?
Well,
I'm gonna
I
get
have
I'm gonna get a total of an angry comment.
I have gotten fed up with sick not done my taxes about it.
I got fed up with a lot of shit. Just skipped senior year, but here we are. There are days I wish I would have attended my classes just a little more than I did, but as the Canadians would say, eh. Wait, Sean. I figured out something. I never have to worry about a spider.
Really,
Yeah, I bought a gun.
Jaden? No,
But hear me out. But hear me out. Yes.
no.
I see zero problems with this, Sean. I felt threatened. They were coming into my home unwelcomed.
Have you considered?
I
All
stood.
right, but real talk. I have shot at a spider one time with a bow and arrow. I will go ahead and tell you now that I did not hit the spider. The arrowhead is still buried somewhere in the house's foundation. And when you shoot at and miss a spider, they go at Mach speed.
I feel like at point blank range, though.
No, even at point blank range, you would be surprised.
I don't know. I just feel like that if, especially the spider that I recently had issues with.
Jaden? Y- You remember Kung Fu Panda?
Uh, Vaguely. I know. Well, it was one of my favorite movies. I haven't watched it in a long time though.
Remember that scene where Tai Lung throws all the shit and like Master Shifu does this sick fucking hand deflection of that blade to throw it into the ground? That's what the spider's gonna do to the bullet.
Why would you tell me that? Because I know for
To
a fact.
keep you from shooting at the fucking spider.
Fuck you. I'm shooting this microphone now. That involves getting up. I'm not doing that. The ATF overhearing this conversation realizing they fucked up when they approved my application. Like, yep, yeah, nope, go get that. That's nope, nope. Ow. Oh, bless you, bless you, bless you, little sneezer. Kitty sneezes. What's that all about? Hi. Oh, hello. Oh, he's cleaning his little face. Alrighty, well, it's about 3 a.m. I think I've wasted enough of my time for the night. So I would say roughly that aside from trees, lights, and signs, other minor little details, that this area over here is just about done. I'm not putting anything along this road, as this is kind of the entrance to the kind of the government sector. This is where important government officials will enter and exit and whatnot, and just really can't put any houses on here. It would be a kind of a hazard. I probably could put some buildings along it that would be used for government purposes, but I might end up doing that. And actually, probably be a good idea just to fill in the space so it's not so bleak. Probably end up doing that another day. Some point I have to start naming these roads. That's gonna be a nightmare.
Correct.
Sean, why do you have to agree with my statements? Why can't you just fulfill me with like false confidence?
Because every time I do that, you end up wanting to shoot the floor while also missing a spider.
Literally, this is the first time I've ever wanted to shoot a spider and have the opportunity to do so.
Alright, about to say, but you've been given the power by America's lax gun system.
Listen, I don't see any problems with this. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna barter with you.
Hmm.
You can have the RDCs. I get to shoot the spider.
We have moved on from denial to bargaining. It's a couple more stages to go there, buddy.
What comes after bargaining?
Let's see. Uh, Usually, I think it's like denial too.
Yeah, it's denial. Shit.
I know acceptance is the last one. We're not there yet.
You know for a fact I'm never getting there. Say, you should know for a damn fact I am probably never gonna reach that one.
It's nice. Think about
Yeah, it'd also be nice to think about getting laid, and that's not gonna happen. Or like finding a reasonable girl who's not gonna, try to control my life or change me for, anything. Because we also know that's not gonna ever happen, or not. That's not ever gonna happen. I don't know.
Damn it, Jaden, you've just fucking bargained yourself into getting chained by some woman that's not good enough for you.
most women I meet, actually, just about all the women I've met, are not good for me. And
Well, the real plot twist here is that women aren't good for you and you should just be gay about it. But, you know.
and pass.
Uh,
Like, hard pass. I know it's Pride Month, Sean, but I'm not gay.
well, I don't know. You said a hard pass, and hard is something gay people do.
Get out.
So, pause.
Get out. You know what? Fuck you. I'm shooting the spider.
Good luck.
It's my life. I do what I want. I was even digging through my bag today because that's where I keep my gun. And I found some old foam earplugs from one of the it was either Delta or Northeast Air. Like, oh, convenient. Now when the guy breaks into my house, I can at least have my ears protected. Won't be able to hear a damn thing because those foam earplugs were damn good, but whatever.
Fine.
Yeah, we don't talk about it. But alright, let's wrap it up here. I think next stream, whenever that happens to be, while I'm still Kara Bassettless, because Ethan is just whoring himself through the Bassett real quick. Okay, I see how he set that up. All right, I got a better look at the. Oh, that area's kind of growing up. Huh.
The whole route's kind of growing up, you know?
Yeah, but every time I see the progress, I'm like, yeah, and or if I work on the route in particular, and I go on there and I expect like half of the entire corner to be done, and I'm like, oh, it's better than it was. Then I remember like how long it actually takes to build a route, and then it makes me depressed.
That's what we get for taking on this project in the first place.
Yeah, but imagine this, Sean. Like either we did this, or I would have been trying to reattempt to recreate the Monon.
To be fair, if you were trying to recreate the Monon, I probably would not have been nearly as interested in the project.
I don't think you care for the Monon much.
I am completely neutral. I have no positive feelings about the Monon and no negative feelings about the Monon. I have no feelings about them.
So, what you're telling me is you are neither up or down the Monon.
I am, in fact, neither up nor down or all around.
The Monon. Hmm. Interesting. Well, for the next live stream, I'm thinking of coming into here, to the government district, what have you, and probably going ahead and I think there should be like light foliage outside the Parliament building. I wanted to redo the tree grouping behind. I forget what that is. I think that's the People's House. I believe it's called, or the House of. I think it's the House of. I forget exactly. I have it written down exactly what it is, just because I forget which each one is. Also, I'm like not in the mood to translate Norwegian to English. But I know that's the Parliament building. That's the that building, whatever it is. That building over there. That's basically the head of government. The Prime Minister's house beside it. The National Police barrack is beside it. You have know that's the kind of the Supreme Court, quote unquote. But this area needs just some like foliage around it. Need fencing, so on and so forth, paths and whatnot. Um, Realistically, I need street lights. I need to put some street lamps up. Sean needs to like go to bed because he's yawning still. But yeah, that's kind of what I want to do next time. Is maybe detail this area a little bit, do something, add things, signage and whatnot. So that's probably what I'll end up doing next time, whenever that is. But I know at some point soon I'm gonna want the Carabassa back, especially while I can live stream when my computer's not fucking up. I would like to live stream again with the Basset while I build whatever it is I so happen to build. Um, but yeah, Basset time's coming. Sean, you have any closing thoughts for the night?
No.
Just ending how we started. Well, in that case, guys, I'm out. I gotta go attend a funeral now. Or, well, tomorrow. Not now. Anyone ever told me there was a funeral at 3 in the morning, I would just punch them. But I think we'll leave off with a nice little scene looking back from the bottom of the. There we go. We'll just look up. Oh, I'm inside something. Shit, how'd I get here? There we go. We'll just look down the street from here, kind of at the Allegiant Tower. Very nice. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you all have a happy Friday and a good weekend, and we will talk with you in the next one. Take care.